Oh, welcome to my session. Yes, we were kind of nominated and recommended to represent at the Business Tourism Conference today as a local hero, and we were actually quite humble. We thought, don't really do anything that special or anything different that any of you around this room probably do as well. But I thought I would share a little bit of what maybe makes our business a little bit more different to a dedicated conference centre or a hotel because of the diversity of our business. So first of all, Horsecross, who are we and what is our business? Horsecross is the arts organisation that was formed to manage both Perth Theatre and Perth Concert Hall back in, I think we were formed in about 2004, so for about a year before Perth Concert Hall opened. And Horsecross is the area that Perth Concert Hall was built on, and it was originally the Horsecross marketplace, and it was a hustly, bustly place, and we kind of wanted to bring that buzz back into Perth, and so we hijacked their name and we thought it was quite appropriate. So hence the name Horsecross Arts. It's got no other relevance. So in our venues are Perth Theatre and Perth Concert Hall. Perth Theatre is a 115-year-old charming Edwardian theatre that still continues to produce its own productions, and it's one of the oldest repertory theatres. Perth Concert Hall, obviously a very modern building, opened in 2005, big glass-fronted building, copper-domed roof, very modern, and has a very flexible interior layout, so we can do many, many different things. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in just a moment. So what is our business? Horsecross Arts, whilst we have two venues, our business is quite diverse. We always refer to it as the big 3 C's, although there is actually a fourth one as well that should be added to it. This is part of what we actually also give staff on our induction presentation. So our business is culture, and that's probably quite straightforward. It includes the drama, the comedy, the music, the dance, and the music is all ranges of music, anything from classical to rock, pop, children's shows. All of that comes under the cultural section. Conferences, again, we are quite varied. We can do anything from a small meeting for 4 people up to 1,200 when it is the larger, big political party conferences. We also have the facility to morph the auditorium into flat floors, so it allows us to do exhibitions, dinner dances, functions for up to 350. Our community, C, also stands for creative learning, and that team looks after our youth theatre, which has 150 strong following. Age range from about 7 to 21, I think it is, that they're allowed to be part of the youth theatre. And we have a huge range of join-in workshops. So we do anything from a 3-year-old coming and attending sort of the very early dance and singing lessons right through to 70-year-olds who may attend our community choirs. Then the 4th C, that's not mentioned on here and sadly often forgotten, but probably the most important sort of underlying C is our catering department, because they support all the culture, the conferences and the community work. And without them, I think we'd be quite dried up. So our mission at Horsecross is, first and foremost, is to create a buzz in our venues in Perthshire, in Scotland, and internationally. Let's never be modest about our ambitions. And we do try very hard, and we've certainly achieved international status by having some very exclusive artists performing in our venue. And our vision is to keep raising the bar, to inspire, entertain and delight our audiences and guests alike, and to help Perth prosper. And at the heart of all our business strands are our diverse range of customers. So it's not just the audience that we perceive as our customers, but visiting artists, crews, production companies. To us, they are customers too. Our workshop participants, regardless of whether they're the 3-year-old youngster that's coming or the 70-year-old joining in the choir, our conference delegates, our function attendees, our exhibition visitors, and also colleagues we consider our colleagues to be as important to each other as our clients and customers that walk through the front door. So in order to manage all of that and to create a philosophy and a culture that represents of what we want to stand for at Horsecross, we created the Horsecross Way. And that is part of our induction policy, and that's something that we refer to throughout every day, pretty much. Our original chief executive, who actually left us sadly last year to move up to Aberdeen, good for you in Aberdeen, she sort of set the tone for the culture by a very simple statement which really sort of sums up. Is when you join Horsecross, you're not just turning up for work, you're buying into an ambitious organisation that wants to be the best. Perth Theatre and Perth Concert Hall are great buildings, but it's the people that make them really special. So we created also some values to go along with our Horsecross way and mission. And these are sort of set out again at induction stage. So not just as we all have values at home, we also within our families, we want to set out values at work and let everyone know what's expected of us and how we should behave towards each other and our customers. Our attitude to work creates the culture, so when we recruit new staff, their skills are only just part of the picture. It's the attitude that they bring with them to work that's important to us. So our values are instilled into making it happen, which represents is to take ownership, to deliver on promises, to be positive, to go the extra mile, to exceed expectations, to stick your neck out, to take the lead, not be shy about taking the initiative sometimes. Work together, team spirit, build relationships, and be open. Aim high, have pride, ambition, and vision, so we're always encouraging also personal development within our teams. And know your role, be knowledgeable, flexible, and strive to improve. And in return, we want to obviously pay our team members with what they would expect to get back from a company that they work for. So simple things like a job description and terms and conditions of employment and induction packs are sort of the basics that you would need. And we also do annual appraisals for all our teams. We set out some team rules, and we kind of turned them a little bit, we believe, on their head. We believe that first and foremost, beyond everything else, safety is the most important aspect. So it's important that all our customers are safe and our colleagues are safe. That's first and foremost before you do anything else. While you're doing that, also be courteous, respect the customers and colleagues. Create a little bit of magic. Create a performance. Efficiency, we have last on the team rules because we actually believe that whilst, yes, financial matters, for example, are really important, we always have to look for a better, smarter way. But if we're safe and we're courteous and we're creating magic, then the efficiency will actually fall into its place automatically. We also think that whilst it comes across potentially as a little bit patronising and customer care training to point out that make eye contact and smile is the first line on the list, and we all know that that's what we need to do anyway. But we kind of realised when we opened Perth Concert Hall initially, well, if we don't tell our staff that that's what we expect of them, they might not know that that's what we want them to do. So we now feel that, yes, we do tell them. And we greet our customers. But we also want to empower our team members. So we like to get them to sort complaints on the spot. So a typical example would be at a family show, a child drops its ice cream. We want them to be able to feel empowered enough to say, here's another ice cream for nothing, and make that child happy and their parents happy without having to seek authorization from a supervisor. And that's just sort of a typical example of where we try and avoid sort of a bigger picture of a complaint that's sorted on the spot. We also like to empower our team members not to be shy. If they get asked, if an usher gets asked for a glass of water, they're not being sent to the catering department, but they go to the catering department and fetch that glass of water. So that's sort of quite important to us, that we do cross our boundaries between the departments. Again, we like to sort of reward ourselves very much. So we've created the Limelight Awards about 5 years ago as an annual recognition and celebration for our staff. And what's important about the Limelight Awards is that they're based on the 5 core values that I mentioned earlier about making it happen, go the extra mile, work together, aim high, and knowing your role. But it's team members, our staff, who nominate their colleagues for awards. And in an annual sort of January celebration, we then hand out all these awards. And over the years, they have now kind of established themselves as being quite important, because staff seem to kind of really appreciate the fact when an award is given that it's actually been something that they've been rewarded for by their own colleagues and their own peers, rather than just by managers or supervisors who say, oh, you've done well, and a pat on the back. And it seems to mean so much more. And we give 3 awards per category. And that's not necessarily on individuals. People can also nominate a whole team. So for example, in January, our whole box office team was nominated as the whole team. And they had then a full days out of skegwaying at Crieff Hydro and had a great fun day. So it was sort of a bit of a double whammy, because they also got a lot of team building and training sort of given with that as well. Additional services, don't think we're that special. We also offer a dedicated conference manager, so from the first phone call right through to the departure of the guest, of the client, there is one main contact who deals with all issues. We have our in-house technical team, and we're quite fortunate with that our cultural element provides the conference side of the business with a fully qualified in-house technical team who can support not just only on AV requirements, but also on lighting and sound issues that goes beyond just a standard PowerPoint presentation. And I kind of feel it gives a little bit of an extra edge, because our sound and lighting technicians feel like they also want to add something a little extra, because they're used to doing proper shows. So they kind of just translate that to a conference, and they don't see that as being anything different. And our creative learning workshops have a vast range of freelance workers who can provide extra training sessions for kickstart sessions in the morning, or voice coaching, drama workshops, singing, drumming, anything that kind of adds team building, or sometimes sort of after lunch when some conferences sometimes like to sort of kickstart the afternoon, so we can just even do very short sessions. So it doesn't mean that we have to bring a freelancer in for a whole day session. They can just be there for an hour to do a short session with delegates. Here is just sort of a typical example of what sort of happens at Perth Concert Hall and the theatre, and how diverse the range of activities can be, and often within 1 week. So here's a short sample of a classical concert of our Piano Sundays, Seasip Steve at a Southern Fried Americana Festival that we hold in July, the Peatbog Fairies, I think that was one Hogmanay that they came, Chris Moyle's Radio 1 show a couple of years ago, snooker competition, and often overnight we go straight into a conference setup, and that would be sort of a typical conference layout in the concert hall. Ewan McGregor is our big ambassador for Perth Theatre. The theatre is going to be completely redeveloped in January and will close for 2 years with a £14 million redevelopment. So Ewan McGregor has kind of pledged and is our ambassador for this project. We're quite proud of. And, Only Boys Allowed, we had 1,200 youngsters, primary school, under 10-year-olds, promoting singing to boys, and they were there for a full day singing. So again, it's like our front of house staff sort of deal with one day with 1,200 youngsters and the next day with 300 conference delegates. So it's very much sort of different. How we measure our performance, that's quite important to us, again, so we know how we're doing. We've sent out customer feedback questionnaires after every event. And the overriding big feedback that we get, which is positive, is on our staff and our customer service. And I guess that's hence why I'm here today. Overridingly is the comments that we get is absolutely positive. We also won over 30 plus awards in all areas of the business. From actors to our work that we do in the community. And the one that I'm particularly most proud of is that we won the Scottish Thistle Awards for Business Tourism in 2007, but that's going back a few years now. And we also have a large number of repeat clients, and that's always obviously a good sign that we seem to be doing all right. What it's all about, that is what we all get a kick out of when we get comments back like this. And they do get sent round to all the departments and all the staff, so they're fully aware of customer feedback. Should we get something negative, then we do the same. But for those who can't quite read it, it was a comment from a conference last year. It went without a glimmer of a hitch. Everyone without exception was helpful, from the young chap on the cloakroom to cafe staff and catering team, Phil the house manager, the ushers who helped with microphones, and the superbly, and patient because I'm not a techie, professional technicians. You're a brilliant team and a very rare breed, by Scotland's Town Partnership. So we were quite proud to receive that comment. So as far as we're concerned at Horsecross, so whether it's a theatre, dance or music or conference, for us it's just all another performance. So thank you very much. And you can tell I'm not the artist.
We've got a couple of minutes if anybody's got any questions. Anybody got any questions?
I have a question. Your customer, Victoria, with from ABCC. Your customer feedback, do you send that out by email? Do you do a Survey Monkey? How do you?
Oh, Survey Monkey.
Yeah,
it's an online.
Do you incentivize people to come back, to put them in a draw or anything, or do you get 100% response rate?
We don't get 100% response rate. Probably about 70 to 80, variable. We have a lot of repeat clients, and then it becomes a bit more difficult because you're kind of sending them another questionnaire, and we're sort of looking into that at the moment because it becomes a little bit repetitive and trying to look at different angles. But since we've gone online, our response rate has hugely increased. And the comments that we get back from Survey Monkey are much more constructive and useful as well.
Thank you.
Can I just ask on that same feedback point? Do they get? You say you have an event contact right from start to finish.
Yeah.
At the end of that, does that event contact give them a telephone call for feedback as well, or do they just automatically get that Survey Monkey from the person that they've dealt with?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. It depends whether there's been already a conversation being had on the day, then that sometimes sort of eliminates the call the next day. But yes, it's definitely a combination of that.
Any more questions?
Are you using two different brands then, Michaela, the concert hall and Horsecross? And is that a challenge?
No, our brand is Horsecross, and we have just two very diverse venues. At the moment, Perth Theatre is not really used for conference business. However, that will change when Perth Theatre goes under redevelopment and will reopen in 2 years' time. Then we'll be looking at that.